Julie Casserly, Stillwater, Minnesota. Two of the most important jobs of this board are to evaluate the superintendent and to approve the budget. Both are currently in process. Your own, quote, role of the school board document states, and I quote, "The board is accountable to the community for constantly monitoring the conditions affecting the district as a whole." And, quote, "An effective board uses data and other indicators as the basis for assessing progress toward district goals," end quote. The most significant event of the last year or so has been the BOLD initiative. It is impossible to meaningfully evaluate the superintendent without analyzing the impact and efficacy of the BOLD proposal. Similarly, it would also be reckless and irresponsible to approve a budget, even a preliminary budget, without discussion and consideration of the effects of BOLD, including the effects of BOLD on transportation expenses, student retention, facilities maintenance, etc. Were the promised $1.2 million in savings realized? If not, what was the net savings or loss? How was it calculated? If there are savings, how are those reflected in the budget? And how are they being applied? Because promises were made about increased services to students. Were the administration's estimates on student retention rates accurate? Why or why not? Why are transportation and facility maintenance expenses increasing after the closure of these three schools? Especially given that Grove has indicated that they are declining district transportation services. That question needs an answer. What average class sizes are proposed for elementary, middle school, and high school in the proposed budget? Obviously, the proposed budget must reflect staffing. Well, what class sizes are you looking at? Because I've heard everything from 32 to 1 in middle school to 37 to 1. I would like to know what your plans are. And you need to know what those plans are. This board and administration have been known to complain about rumors and alternative facts. You know what? That's fair and that's fine. Use the forum that you've been given to provide that information voluntarily. You can't have alternate facts if you don't have facts to begin with. And I don't mean cutesy memes about kids at a baseball game, and I don't mean conclusions, and I don't mean generalities. I mean data. I mean real analysis, because that's your job. Board members, you're being asked to approve an unbalanced budget after closing 3 schools. Why is that? Board members, you're being asked to approve an unbalanced budget with an increase in high-level administrative staff. Why? With fewer kids in the district, not to mention the significant use this district has of paid consultants. Why do you need more high-level administrative staff? You need specific answers. Ask the questions. That's your job. Simply charting out a path and marching boldly ahead, as Ms. Pontrelli did, is not leadership. Leadership is based on results, not intentions. It's only leadership if people follow you. Similarly, members of this board, committing to a course of action and sticking to it, no matter what the real-world results or consequences, is neither courage nor is it strength. It's stubbornness, it's brittleness, and ultimately, it's paralysis. Leadership and courage are the willingness to look around you and adjust your course as necessary. They are the willingness to admit when you've lost your way and the wisdom to ask for help. Since BOLD was proposed, this board and administration have not budged an inch. There has been no concession, no compromise, and in fact, you have refused repeated requests for settlement conversations, frankly, for any meaningful community conversation whatsoever. The promised help for the transitions for these students, as you've heard tonight, did not materialize. You disclosed Stonebridge was losing its open model after the deadline for open and alternate enrollment. You've threatened to whack teachers who complain about their teaching conditions upside the head. You've referred to the communities that are losing schools as having farm kids and artsy kids and saying that no one used to care about them. You were sued for open meeting law violations and written up in the local paper for them, and yet were then spotted having what I guess I'll euphemistically refer to as small group meetings after the fact. And then you ask yourself, why is this district not healing? And the speakers that are saying this district is not healing are correct. Let's face it, people, there's a police officer out front. That is not a sign of a healthy district. You need to do your jobs.
Thank you.